Guess who my guest is on Something to Talk About? The Camachos. Thumbs up. We're going to talk about the crank effect. This is the effect of the cranks. On Something to Talk About. Come on back. Thank you. Well, welcome to Something to Talk About. Here we are at King's Restaurant, and I have the Camacho family here with me.
Say hi.
It's Frank, it's Sarah, and it's lovely Franklin.
Really?
Perfect timing.
Wow, you just turned that one on, didn't you?
Look at this guy, man.
We had like 20 minutes of watching him eat, and he turned it on. Well, good morning, guys. Thanks for coming.
Dude, thank you so much, Patty.
No, I'm so curious about your cool new project, but first I have to ask you, because I always ask this of people who just have had babies, and you guys are like the cutest Guam family ever. Did you ever stop and go, what did we do our entire lives without this human being?
Yes, we have that conversation a lot.
Yeah, you know, like people always kind of like told me like, oh man, welcome to Team No Sleep. It was always such like a negative thing, like that I was gonna be a dad. And at first I was kind of like, okay, oh man, I'm gonna be a dad. What's going on, man? And then when this guy came out, it's like, yeah, I mean, I gotta spend time with him, but dude, I want to spend time with him.
Yeah.
Like, look at him, he's just
he's chill.
He's eating all my food.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Well, actually, Frank is not really eating all of this kind of food. And I think this is probably the beginning of this conversation. Let's start off with that. It feels like you're constantly in training. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
When you're professional like this, you're always in that state?
Yes, like there's like in season, off season, but man, I even if I wasn't like competing or if I wasn't fighting, I would still be training. You know, I'm a huge martial arts nerd. Like I just love it. Yeah.
But when you first got together, were you also enthusiastic and wanting to train with him, or did you both sort of meet and you were both on that same plane?
You know what's crazy is I just became single after being in a relationship for a very long time, and I wanted to try something new back in 2009. And so I was like, I want to try something new, and then I got invited to partake in some classes at Spike 22. And I really enjoyed it. And during that time, maybe a month later after training, I ran into Frank. And Frank was, you know, Mr. MMA fighter from Saipan. And so fortunately, when we started talking, we had something to talk about, and I had a general idea of training and martial arts and stuff like that. So it was just kind of perfect timing.
Yeah, well, actually, I think it was probably just by divine guidance that these things sort of drop in front of you like that, right?
It was fate.
But now, you're the, you're Camacho, the Camachos from Dedido. You started on a journey, although this journey has been taking place for a very long time. The two of you have presented yourselves together as a team, obviously in support of Frank. But you, Missy, having done what you've done, entering into the film world, I'm not surprised that this journey and the documentation of it is probably your brainchild. Did you think, hey, let's put this all on camera?
Actually, no. It was one of those, it was fate kind of situations. The project kind of fell on my lap.
It's called The Crank Effect.
The Crank Effect.
Yeah.
And, you're just talking about Frank training full time. And so this series is kind of a way for him to train full time because having it aired on Sorensen allows sponsorships to come in, and so that allows Frank to focus on his training and me just kind of providing, like documenting it and putting it out there, and people being interested to partake and support. And that
but
kind
you
of thing.
guys otherwise are not necessarily really private people, or do you balance that?
I guess.
I think.
Well, I mean, because
I think
your
that, I
name
think,
is so well known, you know what I mean? Anyway.
Well, I think there is a balance, you know,
Yeah.
like man, when we're out, man, we're all out. We're having a good time. We're partying with everyone. You know, we're talking to everyone, and then, you know, the other half of that is like, man, this is it.
Family
This is
time.
us.
Yeah,
This is us.
it's
Yeah,
just
like we're just cruising all the time. Yeah.
You know, actually, I ran into you the very first time. I'm sure I told you this story at Sakura Kitchen, and I noticed you, and I would not normally have, because I would not have necessarily been paying attention to that world, but it was everywhere, you know. And I totally fangirled out my entire family. You are so embarrassing because I was like, hey, Camacho, let's take a picture. And you were very gracious, and I said, I'll always remember the very first time.
I remember that. I do remember that.
Very gracious, because I'm sure that people stop you all the time. Rice and grapes.
Some grapes.
So the crank effect, is it documenting more than just your training, as well as your family life or your personal life?
The first 3 episodes kind of capture everything and all together. The first episode was the journey, like his 14 years of dreaming for this moment and that moment finally coming. And then the second episode is the fight.
Yeah.
And then the third episode is kind of, it's called The Sideline. It's my vision of kind of me
Sarah's
on the
perspective
side.
of kind of the journey, you know. So so Sarah's kind of like had a cool twist to it. You know, it's kind of like it's everyone kind of that has been with us or been around us and have like a very significant position in this journey. You know, man, for 14 years I've been telling everyone like, yo, this is what I've been trying to do. And then I would run into a road bump and I'm like, okay, you know, man, I would lose a fight or this. So, but it was for 14 years, and there's the key individuals that's helped me through the ups and downs that helped me get to this point, you know. And it's kind of cool to hear their side of the story, you know. And we just happen to have, we know we're just so fortunate that we were like recording footage, man, ever since.
Oh, so that was sort of faithful too.
Yeah, so I mean, I've
You're
always
just documenting it.
Yeah, I've always been like a techie, like I'm like, oh man, the new GoPro, you know, there's this thing called a GoPro. So man, we got a GoPro. She got me a GoPro, and you know, we're just documenting. And then I've just always been a techie head. Like I could appreciate good film, you know.
Yeah.
And then Sarah just always had the eye, and then just like in 2015 you put your first film together, you know. And then I was like, whoa, dude, this girl got it. This girl got it. I was like, yes.
Are you guys impressed with each other?
I'm always impressed with Frank, you know, and he just, every time we go somewhere, we have some kind of interview, I always just look at him like, damn, babe, that was a really good interview. Like, that was the best, you know. So I don't know, I'm a fangirl of my husband, and hopefully he feels the same about me.
Well, I'm sure he does.
Well, no, dude, man, big time, Patty. Like she's just really good at whatever she puts her mind to, you know. And then, but when she puts her mind to it, it's like she takes it full force. Like her films, like, dude, this girl has never gone to school for film or for editing or anything, but man, when she's on the computer, man, she's on it. Like she figures it out. Like I'm like, it's not the easiest thing to, you know, when you're on Adobe Premiere Pro and you're editing and you're putting all your sequences together and your audio and your angles and everything. Like I really admire her drive.
Yeah.
Whenever she puts her, you know, like it's just.
And on that point, you didn't really know anything about filmmaking, but you knew that you wanted to make a film.
Yes.
And it was hatched by your interest in a particular subject.
Yes.
So you were going to make it happen.
Yes.
If it wasn't that medium, it was going to be another way that you were going to put it out.
Yes, yeah. So I worked with a really good friend of ours for my first film, Beat the Beetle, and his name is Michael Marriott. Mm-hmm. And Michael is so talented, but he's also very busy. And so there's a timeline for when films need to be done, you know, especially because I submitted it to the film festival. And he was very, very busy, but still the film needs to be completed. So I just sat down and had Frank teach me the basics, and I just put everything together.
Wow.
And that lesson, and I have to give credit to Dr. Santos over at UOG, she taught me that very valuable lesson. Like, it doesn't matter if whoever you're working with doesn't do their job, the job still needs to get done.
Right.
And I learned that very well in college. So I'm serious. Like I always tell her, I'm like, man, Dr. Santos, like you really taught me and molded me to be the person who I am. But that's kind of how everything started. If that didn't happen, if he wasn't busy, I don't know if I would have sat down and taught myself how to edit, right? So then since that day, that's how I started putting my films together, from just sitting down and learning. And I guess because I just love to watch movies.
Oh,
I'm
Patty,
an
so
Netflix
yeah,
and
I'm gonna
chiller.
try. No, dude. So Sarah's the hardest person to watch a movie with because
Do you predict?
she critiques like so.
Oh,
Like yeah.
so you're critiquing the performance, or you're saying, oh, that something that doesn't make sense.
I'm that person.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what is that?
It doesn't make sense, or is it that, oh my God, I know exactly what's going to happen here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's me. I'm annoying in the movie.
Maybe
Yes.
maybe
Oh,
you're
God.
your film
Yes.
editor.
Yeah, so I'm trying to watch the movie. I mean, like, man, can you just appreciate what the director or what the producer's trying to portray? Like, dude, like, I'm an art, martial arts, right? So man, he's probably just trying to portray this thing, right? Or I don't know, just whatever. But she's like, no, it doesn't make sense. And then I'm like, okay, what a killjoy.
Yeah.
I won't walk out of a movie theater if I feel it's terrible, because I can't. It just drives me crazy.
Wow.
So I guess I know what I like and what I don't like, so I just avoid what I don't like and then just focus on the things that I know I like to watch.
Well, it sounds like that is kind of a match made in heaven, because the positivity, actually you can feel it at the breakfast table. We're going to take a break here, and then when we come back, we want to talk about the Crank effect, where you can see it, and then what's in store for the Camachos from Dedido. Thank you guys all. Well, I gotta see that again. I gotta see the movie. First of all, I think we should explain the eye.
Oh, yeah.
because this just doesn't look right.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Looks like a training.
He was sparring with his cousin.
Yeah.
No. He wasn't sparring. No, he. So we just got back from Saipan.
Yeah.
So whenever we're in Saipan, my mom and dad, and he's playing with my cousins, so they're outside like 80% of the time.
Oh, that's
So
nice though.
They're playing. My dad's showing him his, like, the farm, and so he's just.
He got attacked by something, but that's all right. He's cool now.
He's cool. No, he's been cool.
You can't
for a
even
little bit.
tell. You
Yeah.
can't. He's very well sort of adjusted, and he doesn't really make a lot of fuss or.
Well, no. I mean, when
Yeah.
we were there, he slept with my parents like 2 nights in a row, and when this guy loves my dad.
I bet.
Yeah, so he never. I'm like, Franklin, come here, and he's like, and I'm like,
Oh, man.
Oh my goodness.
Can we talk about your early family life like that? Because I think you were saying that this is sort of the motivation for the story. So, the Genesis, Book of Genesis in the.
So. Okay.
Well, you're growing up in Saipan, and
So I always say born on Guam, raised in Saipan, home is the Marianas, right? Because my mom's from here, I was born here. My dad's from Saipan, and I was raised in Saipan. And living in Saipan, I was always known as kind of like the Guamanian cousin, right?
Yeah.
And then in Guam, every time I come here, I was always known as the Chad Saipanese cousin, So it's kind of like there was this void that I was trying to fill. So anyway. I just finally I realized that we're all one people, and growing up, I wasn't really your most athletic kid, or I had 2 silver teeth, so I was rocking the 2 silver teeth, and I grew up in a middle class family, so my mom and dad really worked really hard for my sister and I, meant like I was playing golf, they just worked really hard, but I had this thing, I don't know what it was, but I always wanted to do something different from the norm, right? And I guess it was like different from the norm being, you either go join the military or go to school and then get a good job and
that's what people were doing to get off the island, right?
Yeah. So I mean, which I think is still good, but it just wasn't for me, But I just growing up, and if I wanted to become a professional athlete, but I just never had that mentor sports athlete to, hey man, Joe, man, what can I want to be a pro MMA fighter, what can I do? I never really had that guidance, So
maybe nobody was doing it, right?
Yeah,
Is that,
and then
yeah.
at the same time, when I would tell people that, like, man, Kiko, what are you doing? What are you doing this fighting thing for? You should do this. You should do that. So I was always getting shut down, right? Like everyone. I'm sure everyone has that super cool idea, and then they get shut down. So I'm getting goosebumps because it's like it happens all the time, you know, like. But I had it in my heart and in my mind. I was like, dude, no way, man.
You're not gonna tell me that.
How come those guys are doing it on TV? And what makes me think? What tells me that I can't do it?
Yeah.
You know, there's something. So, I had to learn the hard way. I bought a one-way ticket, went to Maryland, and I stayed with my sister for a little bit, and I lived at a fighter house when she left, so it's this whole journey, you know, of events. And I just wish that I had that. So the whole purpose of the show is. Are you listening?
He's like, where are we?
Okay.
Where are we in this interview? It's my turn.
So the whole purpose of the show was for some kid or for whoever to watch it and be like, hey man, okay, man. All right, Frank did it, you know, like he totally like stepped out of the box, like, man, I could do it, you know, and so I've always had this idea to do it. So now me fighting in the UFC and reaching my first level of goals kind of just put the stamp on it, saying, all right, man, let's do it, let's do this show, and my wife just happens to be a really, really good filmmaker. So,
it's a match, it's a match.
Yeah,
so then you pick it up from you training for this one big fight.
Yes.
Is that what happens?
So everything that I've been doing has been leading to what happened in June this year. So, you know, for 14 years I've been training. I was fighting in Saipan, fighting in Guam, and then I moved out to the States to further my training, and you know, all the ups and downs, the wins and the losses, you know, literally the blood, the sweat and the tears, right? And finally, this whole journey, I finally got the call that I was waiting for, you know. And so Patty, just kind of like backtrack, like in 2014, and Sarah will let you know, like I almost called quits. You know, like there's no money in MMA. You know, it's.
You're chasing after a dream that wasn't gonna. You didn't feel like they were
like,
calling.
Man,
right?
I'm going there. And I'm getting beat up every day. And for what? You know, like I wasn't getting the opportunity. I wasn't getting the call. Like I felt like a dying warrior. You know, like there was nothing left for me to do. And so I almost called quits. I know, but with the support of Sarah and my family and like a good amount of people, you know, they kept me going. You know?
Sorry, he was tasting coffee. I was waiting to see what the face looked like after he finished.
I'm not gonna like it.
Well, then you did, the good thing is that you didn't quit. There was something that still said, "Don't quit," right?
Yeah, and that really came from the help of Sarah and like really, really good friends, you know, and thank God I didn't quit.
No kidding.
Yeah, you know.
Tell me about the call. I want to know about the call.
So I fought in Saipan.
Right.
It was tough. It was like it was the toughest fight of my career. Like I was getting beat up, and then I finally turned it around and I got the win. Like it was a really tough fight. And then my manager called me up from LA, said, Frank, someone got injured. You want to take a fight? And I was like, heck yeah, man, I'm down. Of course, man. Of course I'm ready to fight. You know, when is the fight? Oh, it's in a week and a half. I was like, okay, all right, let me do some stretches, you know, I'll be good to go, you know. And then I was like, where's the fight? Oh, the fight's in Singapore. It's in the UFC. And I was, dude, I remember it was like midnight, right? It was like midnight, and I woke you up, and I was like, Jason, man, my manager's name is Jason. I'm in. Let's do it. Like, what kind of question is this, man? Like, this is an opportunity of a lifetime. This is what I've been waiting for.
Right.
I've been waiting for, you know. And so I said yes. He called in, got the confirmation. That evening, like, so I was talking to him like probably midnight, and then like 3 a.m, I got all my calls. The UFC called and they set up all my appointments for my medicals. You know, from my MRI to blood work to eye exam to all of this. So it was like super professional level, and I was just like, whoa, yeah, this is the real deal. This is the real deal. So I got all my medicals done, and then, you know, I there was no official announcement till I passed all my medicals. And then, you know, then
Yeah.
the island's so small, and
Oh,
then, you know,
yeah.
word started getting around. It's like, oh, Frank, man, dude, you fight in the UFC, you know? Because John Tuck was on that same fight card.
Right.
So it was even better that we had another local boy on the
Right.
fight card, right? But yeah, it was such a good journey, and it was just so short. It was like only like a week and a half, so I didn't really take it in, but I did take it in.
Yeah.
And it was,
well, it was documented too.
Yeah,
So you really got to go back and see
yeah,
everything.
And I'm so glad that we got to document
No
it. because-
kidding.
because just going back, we're reliving that week.
Yeah.
Because it went by so fast, and it was just so awesome. And truthfully, I just feel like we're just really, really, really blessed.
You are. I mean, what a chance of a lifetime.
Of a lifetime.
And I think it's such an awesome story, and the fact that you guys are partners in it is pretty cool. I like the whole concept that you are trying to inspire people who think that life is done after a certain point. You know, coming from the islands, you know, we see people around us maybe making a lot of money, or they went to school off island, or they come back and they got these great jobs and great houses, and some people feel like that's hard to achieve, you know, unless you leave, you know. So it's pretty inspiring that, you know, a local boy can do good. And then, you know, I think I don't know if you believe this, but you know, you sort of bridge this relationship between Saipan and Guam by making those statements about where you come from.
Yeah, you know, so I mean, this is like a whole other subject. Right?
Yeah.
But I was always so confused, you know, and then you go to Tinian, you go to Rhoda, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, the people, man, the chicken kelebin might have a different little flavor, you know, but it's still the same thing.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
The language is still the same.
Yeah. The heart is still the same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the heart is still the same.
Yeah.
And I was always so confused as a kid, you know. So then finally, when I was in a position to speak out on it, like, man, you know, it's just, you know, one island, you know.
So what's for the future? You've done the first 3 episodes. What's next?
Well, I mean, it's up to you if you want to, or you can tune in.
Yeah.
For the next episode that's going to be aired on Sorensen.
Okay. When's the next episode?
Well, I'm working on it right now.
Okay.
And it should be released online by next Monday.
Okay.
So that's episode 4, and that will kind of tell you
Where
the next 3 episodes are going to go.
Okay.
And but it's very exciting. And
Can you watch it? Because they've already played, yes. Can you watch it? Is there another place? Like, is it on YouTube
yes,
yet?
YouTube,
Okay.
you can find it on Frank the Crank Camacho.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can find it on YouTube, and it's airing right now. If you download the PNC app,
Yeah.
yeah. So I just download the
PNC app.
PNC app. So
Okay.
So I got a text right from Carissa. She said, "Hey, just download the PNC app because it showed all the listings, right?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Okay, yeah, she just wants me to download the app, man." But I downloaded the app,
And it's all there.
Dude, it's all there.
It is all there.
You're just going through there, so you
Okay.
you could catch the show when it's airing.
Okay.
And it's on ABC7. ABC7
And
TV, Saipan and Guam.
Awesome.
And on Fox 6.
Awesome.
And then also too, if you don't catch it on Sorensen, you can catch it online. Just search it on
Okay.
YouTube.
You need to get a DVD set.
That'd be awesome,
right?
right?
Right? A
Just to have
DVD,
it, like,
just to
on
have
the
one.
shelf.
It's
I
like,
do.
oh, it's our
VHS
series.
set.
It's our life. Well, man, I tell you, I'm so glad you guys were able to make it to this interview, and I'm so proud of you for the accomplishments. I was going to tell the story. It was pretty funny that on her birthday, was it your birthday you were going to Saipan, or his birthday? And I predicted that you were going to ask her to marry, and it didn't happen. It was your birthday, you were going to Saipan, or you were going to
your
Tini?
fault.
I
You
wanted-
got me in trouble.
because it didn't happen. I know,
happen.
because I was waiting on Facebook to see where the ring was coming, and I told her, I said, he's going to propose to you this week. Can you watch? Sorry, hey, but I knew everybody knew it was going to happen, and it happened. And so baby makes 3. The crank effect in full effect right here. Thanks so much, guys. I
thanks for
appreciate
having
it.
us.
Thank you, baby.
Say bye.
Bye. Say bye-bye.
Say bye.
good morning.
Say bye.
Oh, turn it on. See you next time.